Well, hello. So it's me again for another review of another item that Zachary sent me. So this one is a Fujix-8 8mm camcorder. So Fujix-8, that's the name of the brand. So that is a pretty special camcorder. And here what he wrote to me. It's a rare Fujifilm 8mm. It uses Sony TR81 Mecha and playback fuzzy. So that's what he wrote to me. So it's made by the company Fujifilm. So these mostly made video tapes. But so apparently they made this 8mm camcorder. So yeah, Fujifilm VHS tapes are quite common. And he did send me two Fuji VHS tapes. So it's this company here. And here's the carrying case of the camcorder. It's the original one, as you can see. Fujix-8, so same logo, same company. So other stuff that we're going to review later. So there's this Panasonic VHS camcorder here. Very old one, and that one no longer powers on, but I'm going to review it and open it anyway. So we're going to see the inside. And there's also a Panasonic VHS camcorder that I still have to review, which is I tested it and it seems to be fully working. So this one quite interesting Fujix-8 Fuji 8mm camcorder. This one is not it's not a high 8, it's a standard 8. But it's still quite interesting, and it also looks pretty special. And so we're going to plug in the power supply, because well, it does power on, so we will be able to see it in operation. So first thing that is special, that I found special on this camcorder, is that the tape mechanism is at the left. So here's the backside, the battery, and there it's at the tape mechanism is at the left, and you saw on the Canon camcorders the mechanism is at the tape mechanism is at the right side. So this is something that is quite special on this one, and well, it uses a Sony mechanism. And well, here we have the VCR controls on the top. So here's something I just noticed, something special. The play button it's like an arrow facing left. So I don't know why they did it like this. They did it like the opposite way. So you can see play is at the left, and fast forward it's facing the left side. So this is not normal. I don't know why it's made like this. This is pretty strange. Yeah, really strange. So sometimes you have this, you have that on audio cassette decks, but on a video camera, that's really uncommon. So I did not really use it a lot, but yeah, I see here there is a record button, so maybe it can record from an external source. Yeah, so it can record from apparently this camcorder can record from an external source. And here you can select between output and input. So you could record from an external, so you can use this as a VCR basically. So if you had this this camcorder back then, and here the bottom side. So there's a model number here, F122SW. So yeah, the Fujix-8 is not the model number, it's just the name that Fujifilm, the company Fujifilm, give to their camcorders that they make. And it seems that these are pretty rare, these camcorders, Fuji. Now let's put the power adapter here. So I think that's where you put it. So right now I just inserted the power supply at the back of the camera, so the same place as you put the battery. So this is something pretty common on these vintage camcorders. Like the power supply, you put it at the same place as where the battery goes. and sometimes it's a cable that is plugged there, but sometimes it's the shape of a battery. So turn it on and put it on VTR mode with this switch here, and we're going to slide the eject button. So that's a pretty weird sounding mechanism. It's also pretty special, and it uses one of the first things I noticed, it uses a small drum. So unlike the Canon camcorders, it uses a small drum, and this one it wraps 360 degrees around it, or almost. Unlike the Canon, which wrap about 180 degrees, or I think it's a little bit more on 8mm. So what's pretty nice with this my Sony camcorder I'm currently using to film this is that it can zoom, so we can zoom in the viewfinder when I'm filming one of these camcorders. And apparently it does not play tapes because there is no picture at the moment. So yeah, apparently this machine does not play tapes, so that's unfortunate. So it probably suffers from these capacitor problems, this camcorder. So probably it has a bunch of bad surface mount capacitors because it uses a Sony mechanism, but the rest of the unit, I don't know if it's made by Sony. I don't know if Sony made the electronics inside this. Pardon me. So a pretty cool looking mechanism anyway. So maybe we will take a look at the mechanism. Open the camcorder, and I see there are no screws on this door here. Usually they are, but here they are not. So you open this camera like a different manner, a different way. And so we will put it on camera mode and see what it does. And we have to open this thing here, so it opens mechanically. Oh, it's in color, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I had already tested it, but I forgot it was a color viewfinder. So camera mode seems to be working, and there was something recorded on this tape, but it's just not playing. So I think I will try to do a recording and play it back on my Canon camcorder, which is working. So I'm going to do this right now. So I just recorded something on this Fujix-8 camcorder, and right now I'm trying to play it in the same camcorder that it was recorded in. And here it's currently on pause. So at the moment it's my Sony camcorder, I think, that does not want to focus. There, it just focused. And so it displays picture on pause, and if you press play, it appears for a split second, then it disappears. So it has problems that I have already experienced with VCRs, and my friend the VCR King also had VCRs that did some problem like this. Play, and then it appears for a split second and then disappears, but it seems that it recorded the tape. So it might be a bad drum, a bad head. And you can see the Canon camcorder is here next to it, quite a lot different, except this button here is at the same place. So it's at the right of the camcorder. It looks similar to most camcorders have something like this. But the main difference, the tip mechanism, is at the right here and here at the left. So this one is really special for this. So this camera does not play the sound, but it seems that the Fujix-8 camcorder recorded well. So I'm going to plug this one to the CRT TV now so that we can hear the sound. So there the recording will play. So I'm trying to record with this Fujix-8 8mm camcorder. So it's currently recording, and we're going to try to play this tape on the other camcorder, since it seems that this Fujix-8 does not play tapes. So there you can see what I recorded with this playing in this. So the picture seems to be working, but the sound is really bad, and there is a pretty loud background noise when on the tapes that were recorded on this. So this one must have bad capacitors or bad heads. So I think we should open this camcorder so we can at least see the mechanism. That would be pretty cool. And well, this one, something that I like, yeah, it has a regular RCA output, while here it has this thing here. And of course this one does not have S-video because it's not a SVHS. It's not a high 8 camcorder or SVHS. So it's not like the better version of the tape format, basically. Or a high resolution tape format, just a standard 8, that's what I mean. So right now what we are going to try to do is to open this camcorder so that we can see the mechanism, the tape mechanism, and I think that would be pretty cool to see. It would be pretty interesting to see the mechanism, because yeah, the mechanism looks pretty interesting. And well, we don't have really anything to lose because this camcorder does not play tapes or record them well. So yeah, it does not play tapes correctly, so there's not a lot to lose. And we're going to try to see the mechanism. And here there are screws here, some of on the bottom side. So we remove them all. Two here, none on the front, and none on the cassette door. There's no screws on the cassette door, and no screws on this side. So yeah, would be pretty cool to see the tape loading in this. And there might be some on the back side of it. Well, now I removed all of the screws that I could see at the outside of the camcorder. And so the front could come off. And here's that little slider that opens the camera lens. So it moves this. So with a little gear system. And under the front there are two screws here, and it seems that these screws hold the front, so it's this part that we want to remove. Well, this really is not the easiest camcorder I took apart. You can see here behind this button pad here, so this does not have anything electronic on it, it's just plastic, and it goes pushing on these buttons here, these push buttons. But behind this there are other screws to remove. So this is quite a lot of disassembly to do to access the mechanism. So right now, after taking apart a lot of stuff, I finally got to access the mechanism. So this really isn't easy to access. You have to open a lot of stuff to access the mechanism. And so here's the power supply, and here's that plastic thing, that plastic piece that you put the battery on this. So I put this rubber band there to hold this plastic piece to the battery, to the power supply pack, because now it's open. So that what holds the battery there is the plastic casing, which is removed now. So I put this to hold it, so the camera can have power while I am watching the mechanism like this. And I've removed that this part here that was here on the cassette carriage, and it was clipped there. And here there is a metal piece there, and I can't remove it because well, you can see all this metal here is the same part, so you can I cannot really remove it. So this, what you're going to see, is the best I can show you the mechanism. And I think they let this space here so that you can adjust the tape guides. So for adjusting the tape alignment. So I'll try to drop this this circuit board and slide the eject button, because it's a sliding button. And we will insert a 8mm tape. So pretty cool, at least we could see the tape loading. And also I don't know exactly from what time this camcorder is from. So I'm guessing the mid-90s, like 94, 95. So you can see 360-degree wrap, or almost, on the drum. You can see these are the two tape guides, and they are at the way back of the drum. So it loaded all the way around it. And now I will press the play button. I'm trying to press it. So these are the buttons, and the plastic just presses on these. And right now the 8mm tape is currently playing, and the viewfinder is not plugged in now. So right now it's doing fast forward. Now rewind. So it's not very fast, but most 8mm camcorders don't really rewind faster than this. So the 8mm VCRs, so the full-size decks from the mid-90s, from around 1995, like for example the AV-C200 or the EVS-7000. So Zach, who gave me this camcorder, he has a Sony AVS-7000, the king of the high decks, and he recently uploaded a video of this, and his VCR, his high-8 VCR, rewinds pretty fast. It has a high-speed rewind, just like this Sony VHS VCR here. And all VCRs with the mechanism that I talked about, like the EVS-7000, all VCRs with that particular mechanism have the speed rewind function, and they rewind very fast. So they rewind the 8mm tape in around 30-40 seconds. I'm not sure, but it's very fast. faster than any 8mm camcorder. So you can see the tape is wrapped all the way, and it goes up there. So this is a pretty small mechanism because it's 8mm. So you see the tape is wrapped all the way there, and there's the capstan just under there in the center of the screen here. So it's pretty hard to see because of all that metal shielding that is on top of it. So very hard to access the mechanism. It must be really hard to repair if something goes wrong in the mechanism. So just for fun, I'll let the tape rewind to the beginning. So you can just skip the part if you want. And it's really slow, so if this camcorder was the only 8mm device that you had, well, you had to be patient if you wanted to play multiple tapes or find a certain place on the tape. And they existed 8mm cassette rewinders, so these might have been faster than this, but I don't know, I've never had one. Zach has one, he has two of them actually, and he has showed them in a video. And these were used like VHS rewinders to save wear on the tape and the machine. So here's the loading motor. Like on most 8mm camcorders, it's placed vertically here, and most VHS-C and mini DV also have the motor placed like this. So like the JVC mini DV that I have recently reviewed, but the Panasonic mini DV does not have the motor placed there. So I'll try to maybe show you the tape loading mechanism from a different angle. You're not going to see a lot of stuff. Maybe try like that. Yeah, there's that thing that is in the way, the circuit board. So this is not easy to see. So that's pretty nice. So the Sanyo 8mm camcorder that I used to have also had a very small drum and a 360-degree load. You can see that tape guide here. Now we'll view it from this angle when it's ejecting. And now we will see it loading without a tape. So the mechanism does load when there is no tape, and the tape is not the cassette is not hiding the mechanism, so we can see it better now. So there we have gears that are visible there. And well, there we have a very small toothed belt that's just under this transparent gear, and this transfer the rotation from the capstan, which is down under here, and to the idler, so to the two reels here, which makes the tape turn. And these are on the cassette carriage, so they go forward when the tape goes forward. So most 8mm camcorders work like this, but the earlier models did not have that sliding cassette carriage. So they had only just the part that goes up and down that you push. So like that video Walkman here, this one has the same mechanism as the very early Sony 8mm camcorders. So I think I showed the mechanism the best tackled. And here you might have already noticed it, but I forgot to talk about it. There is a auto head cleaner. And it seems that it works different from regular VCRs. So usually when the tape guide loads, it just pushes against the drum while it's spinning, but now it's when it ejects. So it just used to right now it is like pinching against the drum, the heads, and so while the drum is stopping its rotation, this is touching it and cleaning it. So it does not work exactly the same as on regular VCRs, and also most 8mm camcorders and VCRs have an auto head cleaner that works pretty much like VHS. And when mini DV camcorders also have a auto head cleaner like this, like the JVC mini DV also has one like this, and you can also hear it loading, the auto head cleaner when the tape is loading, and it just goes tack tack like that when the tape is loading, so while the tape guides are moving forward. But this one does not work like this. Well, I have now completely reassembled the camcorder, and now it's still working like it was before I opened it. So the tape mechanism is still working, and the camera mode is still working too. So we can see in this viewfinder. And well, there was one of the screws that I did not put back, so I forgot it. Somewhere there is a screw that is not there, but I think it's not at the outside of the camcorder. Oh, and here I just noticed I put it wrong there. I'll fix that. So somewhere there is it must be at the inside of the camcorder. There is a screw that I did not put back, but it's no big deal. Everything holds well. So well, there were also other screws, black screws like this inside of the camcorder. Now I just put this back correctly. And so yeah, that was quite a lot of screws. And also some of the screws, they were like a few different type of screws. Like there were long screws and short screws. So some of them I might not have put them at the place they were, but it still holds correctly. So the camera is still working and it's still reassembled all the way. And so that's pretty much it for this video of this Fujix-8 8mm camcorder. I hope you enjoyed it, and also I hope you enjoyed to see the inside, to see the mechanism in action. I showed it the best I could. So there was a lot of disassembly to show it. So not just a little door to a little piece to open there. So you have to remove the entire plastic casing to see the mechanism. And a technician will have to remove all that to to be able like to adjust the tape guides, so the tape alignment. So yeah, that's pretty much it for it.